Hey Quad Bros, what's going on guys? Welcome back here to another video. I'm going to be talking here about the campaigns and the different campaigns and Enlisted, my thoughts on them. I do want to quickly say guys that I am pre-recording this video about 2 weeks before it's going to be coming out, and that's because I am currently on vacation when this video is going to be releasing, and so I wanted to make sure I was still getting content out to you guys. But if anything in this video is like outdated or weird or anything like that because of patches, that's why. So let's talk about the different campaigns in the game, because so many people ask me, Quadro, what campaign should I play? Quadro, what's the best for, beginners? What's the differences between Normandy and Moscow and Berlin and so on and so forth? So I figured that I would just do a quick video and scoop all those questions up into one and basically just give my thoughts on each campaign. Now, we'll start with Normandy. It's my most experienced campaign. Obviously, I'm level 29 in it. For Axis, I'm level 12. I do like playing the Axis. It's just I like playing the Allies more. Now, Normandy is, even though it's my most played campaign right now, it's probably my least favorite campaign to play in right now. And the reason for this really has to do with planes. I think planes right now are really oppressive. I think they're really frustrating to deal with. And I think they're really just not fun. So a lot of times in Normandy, the planes are really, really powerful. The BF-110, God forbid the P-47D down here, you can see. These things are ridiculous. They are not fun to deal with, and it's just getting bombed over and over again. And just to be honest with you guys, I don't have a lot of fun with it because of those reasons. If planes didn't exist, I would love this campaign a lot more. I like the maps. I think the conquest maps in Normandy really suck, though. I think the worst map in the game is Swamps of Revier or something, whatever the hell that map is called. I think that map is awful. I think most of the conquest maps in this game are pretty bad. They're too big. They don't really, you don't see a lot of like interesting combat and things like that. So I think the only good conquest map is really Ruins of Vaux. I think that map is fantastic, but anything else I think is just too large, and you spend too much time running around like Chateau, and it's just not great. The invasion maps, they're okay. D-Day sucks. I really don't like D-Day. I think D-Day is just frustrating for both sides because the Americans are just getting shot by MG42s and getting your whole squad wiped, and that's not really fun. And then the Germans are just losing every game because as soon as the Americans break the MG42s, the Germans can't hold positions because that's the whole map is just based around MG42s. So I don't know. I find that really boring, but I don't know. Some people like D-Day. Go for it if you like that kind of gameplay. Other invasion maps, I think Le Bray is fine. I think Le Bray is a fun map, and I think Ruins of Vaux is actually one of my favorite invasion maps. I think it works really well, even though it does go into the swamps. I think it works in swamps. I think the swamps conquest map sucks, but I think the Ruins of Vaux invasion map that has the swamps area is actually pretty good. And finally, Airfield. I like Airfield. I think Airfield's a pretty fun map. I've never really had any problems with Airfield or anything like that. I know a lot of people dislike Airfield, but personally speaking, I like it, but I've only played it as the Allies. I'm sure as the Axis, it could be kind of frustrating. Now, moving on here to Berlin, guys. I like Berlin. Berlin's probably my favorite campaign right now. I suspect that Tunisia I will enjoy more, but Berlin is just so fun. It's so intense, and there's just so much combat that happens all the time. You can just rack up kills just everywhere because there's just so many enemies. It's these really close quarters areas, and the guns are fantastic. You finally get the PPSH, you get the PPD-40, you get the DP-27 really early. You get all these like really late war weapons really early in the campaign, and you can just really dominate. It's a great change of pace from like Moscow, and it's also interesting having the Russians being the attackers as opposed to the Germans being the attackers, like how it is in Moscow oftentimes. And not to mention the vehicles are fantastic. You get T-34s, you get Panthers, which is fantastic. Like that's super cool. You just get all these like really powerful late war weapons that you don't get to see in the other campaigns. That it's just really, really cool to see. So I really enjoy Berlin. It doesn't have the close air support that Normandy has. Like you do get bombs dropped on your head, and that is very frustrating, especially with the 250k bombs. And I think the Germans are going to get the ME-410, I think is what it is, which has like a 500 kilogram bomb, which is just so stupid. But there you go. I think the maps are fantastic. I think these are the only conquest maps that I don't hate. I think there's one like Wilhelmstrasse or something like that. It's something like that. And I hate that map. That map sucks for Conquest, but that is like the only bad map. The 5 oh, and then I don't know. There's another Conquest map that sucks. Conquest kind of sucks in general, but this has the only good Conquest map. It has the Conquest that is 5 objectives outside the I think it's the Reichstag, and it is fantastic. It's super fun. I think it's the Reichstag. It might be something else, but it's a super fun map. Like, it's got like 5 objectives as opposed to the other maps that only have 3, so you get a lot more combat. You have like this outdoors area with lots of tanks and a lot more long range combat, but then you have like this indoors area that's like a lot more close quarters combat. So it's kind of like you can just go inside with an MG and gun people down, or you can go outside with a rifle and snipe people. It works really well, and I enjoy it a lot. And this campaign also has the most invasion game modes, and most invasion maps, and all of the invasion maps are fantastic in this. I absolutely love playing invasion in Berlin. It's so damn fun to play. It's just fantastic. It really is. So I think Berlin is fantastic. The problem with Berlin right now is that it doesn't have progression. So if you're a new player seeing this video, don't jump into Berlin unless it's been like, I don't know, a month or so after this video came out, and I would assume that progression has come out. But as of right now, progression does not exist in Berlin, and as such, would not be a recommendation for me unless you're willing to pay the money to get the premium squads to get that progression. Now, finally, guys, Moscow, the original campaign. I like Moscow. I do. I think Moscow struggles with its conquest maps, just like the other modes. It's got super good invasion maps, though. I think what is it? Voskiovo Village is probably my favorite invasion map in the game, right alongside Ruins of Vaux and Normandy. Voskiovo Village is just so fun. It feels like a really cool Moscow maps. And the thing that really differentiates Moscow from the other campaigns is that it's really early war stuff, right? Like, this is not late war combat. This happened, I think Moscow happened like 41, 42 or something like that. While, like, you know, Normandy's 44, Berlin is 45. I'm sure people are going to be freaking out in the comments. I'm not going to re-record this. You guys can all deal with my historical inaccuracies. All right, so Moscow is just fantastic though, because it is such an early war, and so you don't have semi-automatic rifles, right? In the other campaigns, you unlock semi-auto rifles at level 7. In these campaigns, you don't unlock them to level, like, I think 25 maybe. It's something like that. It's really late. Yeah, it's 21. It's very late in the campaign. You don't see people running around with full squads of semi-automatic rifles, so it's a lot more bolt actions. It's a lot slower of gameplay, and some people don't like that, and some people do, right? Like, you don't get bombs dropped on your head nearly as much. Really, the Stuka is the only super big bomber in this. I think the Russians might have a bigger bomber or something like that, but you don't get bombed as much in Moscow. I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe the bombers are just later in the campaign, so you don't see them as much. So it's fantastic, though. I really do enjoy Moscow. Like I said, the conquest maps really struggle. I can't remember. There's like a farm. I think it's like something Farm Collective or something like that. I don't know. Some map like that isn't very good, but it's fine. It's good for conquest, I suppose. But then you also have like Fortified District that just makes me want to like vomit every time I play that map. So not a great thing. But again, some people like it. But it's got great invasion maps. I think Monastery is fantastic. I think Monastery Conquest is really good too. But again, people hate that. But Monastery Invasion, both sides, is really good. And then what's the other one? There's Voskiovo, Monastery, and then there's another like castle type map that's a lot of fun as well. So invasion maps are fantastic. But the bottom line, again, Moscow is just a little bit slower than the other campaigns. If you're a new player, I would recommend probably jumping into Moscow, because I think this is kind of the most pure gameplay, I guess. I think this is where Enlisted is its best, because it has less vehicles. Like, vehicles are still really powerful, but they're not like ridiculously dominant the way they are in Normandy or Berlin even. And so it's a lot more like infantry combat. You know, planes are good and they can do damage, but they're not going to be like blowing up entire massive groups of enemies, which they can do in Berlin and Normandy, excuse me, which can just be really frustrating. Moscow is how I fell in love with Enlisted. This was the only campaign when I started playing Enlisted. So again, it's how I fell in love with the game, and I think that this is where the infantry combat really shines the most. And I think if you jump right into like Normandy or something like that, you run the risk of becoming really frustrated just because of how annoying the gameplay can be with bombers and things like that. So those are my thoughts on all the different campaigns, guys. It doesn't change from the Axis versus the Allies. I guess I could talk balance a little bit, but for the most part, I think most of these campaigns are pretty balanced. Normandy, I guess the Allies probably have pretty favorable advantage because the P-47 is so stupidly broken. But otherwise, Berlin, I guess, favors the Allies as well a little bit. But I think that's just because we don't have everything in the game yet. And I've seen some German teams put up some pretty stiff resistance in Berlin. So, again, guys, that's it. I will see you guys next time. Please remember, as always, to like, comment, and subscribe. I do appreciate that. Come check me out over at twitch.tv/HeyQuadro. Follow the channel, get involved in the community, and you can always join our community Discord. You can find the link for that, again, down in the description below. If you're looking for people to play with, if you're looking for, just other nerds and goofballs to hang out with, play some Enlisted or play some other games. And if you want to see, pictures of our dog Dandelion and other people's dogs and cute dog pics and things like that, you can always see those in the animal appreciation thread as well. But that's enough, guys. Enough rambling. I will see you guys next time, and take it easy.